County AmeriCorps members.
Sarah's gonna just start and then.
Well,
Okay.
we started the M4H01135 project, as you guys know, 2 years ago, and we were able to do that because the County Commission did $25,000 of matching money to get that off the ground. And the next year, we grew the project significantly by 50%. And we're able to grow the project by 50% and still only ask for $25,000 from the County Commission. And we've worked really hard to grow the project even further, not another 50%, but probably like another 30% since the year before, and to really start to bring resources into it for other places by developing partner sites all across the state of West Virginia. A lot of those are in farm to school and built on the farm to school work that Adrian Juergens has done in Pocahontas County, and people across the state are really looking at that as a model for how they want to grow their farm to school programs. So there are 6 counties, and Pocahontas County is one of them, whose school systems or community organizations are coming up with $6,000 of matching money from within their system or community organization to launch a program that's modeled on what we've done here in Pocahontas County next year. And I only see that growing. I mean, I would not be surprised if that's 20 counties by the next year.
Wow.
So there's an enormous need and an enormous opportunity for farm to school curriculum, but also people to do it and bring it together. So I feel like that's been a really amazing outgrowth. It also means that we're able next year to create a half-time job for Adrian. So there's at least another new half-time job in Pocahontas County next year that's all being subsidized through that. I think by next year, I know by next year, that we'll have enough partner sites. We'll bring on at least another 2 partner sites, which will cover that $12,000, but we're not there yet.
Okay.
And so in order to grow to that next step, and part of what's been able to happen too is that I think it's a really neat example of how we've been able to, within Pocahontas County, really grow ourselves as experts and be seen in the state and in the region. I mean, I just got invited to go to the Appalachia Funders Network as one of 30 premier practitioners in the field to really talk about economic development and sustainable economic development in communities and what that looks like. So I feel like, from people that I've had applying for jobs at High Rocks who are saying, I just want to come and be here, like this is such an awesome place, this has such good energy, not just High Rocks, but Pocahontas County and the Green Valley. So I think we're really on our way, and I think we still really need to help per year. And then we should be on our own with this project, and it should be totally self-sustainable, not from big one-time grants that are other men, but from long-term programs as a small part of large organizational budget.
Did I hear you say farm to school? Is that what does that mean? Encapsulate that for me. What are you talking about?
Well, the different things that we've been working on in farm to school, one are trying to connect farmers to school. One is
how do you connect farmers to schools? I don't get that.
Well, Joe Heathcock, for example, came into Marlington Elementary School and brought chard that he had grown in Hillsborough, and he and Adrian went through every classroom, and the kids worked with it, and they did mixed greens too. And so he was the farmer who had grown the stuff, who was there in the classroom sharing the food with them and talking about it. So a lot of them are also dealing with nutrition and trying to start to bring in the nutrition CSOs, which it's been hard to do in schools, to start to talk about wellness and health as well. So it kind of comes from both angles.
Joe Heathcock had sent a report, an update on the progress he'd been making. I have that here, so you might print that for all of us.
Right, and so as we in Pocahontas County start to try and grow more producers and help producers make steps towards marketing their stuff locally, the school is a great sort of first institutional buyer where people can start to have a real project where they come together with school. And actually the state legislature just approved $250,000 for school systems to use to buy local food. That's a direct reimbursement. So the first person to spend $250,000 gets it free, paid for, courtesy of the state of West Virginia. So we just have to be on those kinds of opportunities. And then, so I mean, I sort of wanted to talk about the economics behind it, and Susan was going to talk about some of the specific.
I wanted to ask you about the total budget for your program. What kind of a slice of it do we contribute?
The total budget for the project next year is right at $300,000.
Okay. What's your fiscal year?
The program year for that is September 1st to August 31st.
Is that 300,000 for this particular project or for the whole, not for the whole High Rock, but just for the whole?
It's for the AmeriCorps project that High Rocks is a sponsor of. So that has 18 full-time members, 4 quarter-time members, and 4 minimum time
Now,
members.
my talking with Sue just here is that $25,000 was given to you last year by the county commission, given to High Rocks, and this in this present year we owe you $26,000.
I know that Carlene has been working on trying to catch up with.
So that's $51,000 that the commission has put into High Rocks in the last 2 years. And now you're asking us for an additional $10,000 for this year?
An additional $12,000.
$12,000. And that is to support this one particular program of the farm to school?
No, farm to school is supporting itself. Farm to school is our opportunity for it to really be economically self-sustaining on its own without further help from the commission in future years. But the programs that they're working on within Pocahontas County certainly include the High Rocks, but they also really include what we've been doing with the youth forum, which Susan can tell you more about, and usually Doodle, which you can also talk about.
We'll talk about how much money we have left in the contributions line item, and also would like to note that.
Well, this is for next year, right?
That's right. Yeah. So right. We have a large line item for next year at this point.
The $12,000 is for a request for the next fiscal year, not
Yes.
this year?
Because,
Not this year,
as you
next
said,
year.
the 26th.
Yeah, we have 26 on the line for this year. So you're not, okay.
Right, but it's everything with the county commission is on a reimbursement basis, so we have to spend all of that money and then gather all the receipts and then send them to you.
It's basically a year delay about.
Yeah.
Because I know last year it was the same deal. We owed them money and then they asked for more.
That's right. So this actually would be the first request for funds for next fiscal year's contribution.
No, we
line.
already have a request from the Child and Youth Advocacy for $10,000.
For next year.
Yeah, starting after July.
That
That
was,
will go on the August
Couple
meeting.
meetings back, wasn't it?
Yes.
Okay.
For this year, I have, of course, the High Rocks for 26. The
Yeah.
Farmers Market we committed to.
Mm-hmm.
The Northern Pantry we committed to.
Mm-hmm.
North
2000.
Central, they're coming in to ask for 500.
Mm-hmm.
Mountain Resources on the agenda for May 1st for 1,000.
Okay.
And the Recreational Trails Grant, and I'm not sure when the date is for that, but that's $3,000 match that we've committed
Okay.
that may have to come from this budget year.
Okay.
Well, what about the fishing derby? Was it this year or next year?
That's this year. It's
Yeah,
in
500.
they're coming back in May, or they asked me to consider it.
Right.
$500.
That's what we have hanging there right now that's unpaid.
Okay.
Now, you would anticipate that in the next year, we're going to see the same people that we gave money to this year come back again in the same amounts or more.
That's right.
So, how much was all of that last year? I mean, approximately, just
You
to
mean
kind of-
the contributions we gave out last
right.
year?
Just so I can just sort of anticipate.
Yeah.
We budgeted 150 or 175 total. We had 175 total, I think. We started with, I don't remember again. I think it's
I
175.
thought it was 150.
So we've given out all but about, just coincidentally, about $12,000 of it. I think there's 13,000 left in this fiscal year's. So
Yeah, up to-
that would be 100.
June 30 again.
If Jamie's right about 150, then that'd be 137 if that's expense. 175, then it's 162 or so. Or obligated, I should say.
Well, last year, we paid this out on contracted services, so I'm gonna have to look it up to break it down, but it was approximately, it was over $100,000
Okay.
that we contributed last year. This past year, we put it in separate line items so we could better track it.
Right.
As of right now, we've given out just short of $130,000 so far this year,
Okay.
So it was
out of a budget of 175.
So we're gonna have 20-some thousand.
But we still have
32.
commitments for this 26, 28, 30, 34. We still have commitments of $35,000 right now from this year.
Yeah, 35,
And plus I have another ad in the newspaper to consider contributions on May 1st that will run within the next week.
So we're probably going to spend pretty much every dollar, just 175.
Yeah, pretty much every dollar.
Yeah, we're probably turning somebody away if
Well, I hope not, but.
it's that many requests.
Well, I know that, I'm not sure about the recreational trails, that may come off next year. I'm not
Okay.
sure when that grant is approved to start,
All right.
but we committed $3,000 of that.
That's sort of the economics of it. From my point of view, that's the only questions I have. I would say that you have been a very good partner with us in explaining to us, how you're going to use the 25 each time before. And certainly I like the idea that now it's just 12, and this you're actually working very hard towards self-sufficiency. I mean, we give contributions to a lot of groups that just don't pursue that kind of self-sufficiency as vigorously as you have. So that's to be commended.
Yeah, we really do. We give money to groups that just look to us to fund them in some portion rather than generating their own incomes.
Yeah.
We just had the community corrections in here. I don't know if you ever heard
Just a little bit
a
of it.
little
yeah.
of it, but part of the thing that we were talking about at the end was getting the message to young people before they start to become addicted to these drugs. And the problem with these drugs is that they're extremely powerful, and once they overtake you, they overtake you, and it's sort of like the sorcerer's apprentice. Once you start, you're stuck. Are you